So I wanted to talk to you guys today about a hot button issue that has a tremendous impact on Citrus County. Sometimes it's not quite understood how tremendous the impact is, but I'll get to that here shortly. I presented a more specific version of this idea 5 years ago. I believe it was the first fire at Citrus we actually ever did. I'm here today to talk about a lot more broad solution to what I think is growingly becoming more and more of a problem. myfwc.com, I don't know if anybody ever goes to that website. If you have a saltwater fishing license, freshwater fishing license, you go to that probably on a pretty regular basis. And most of the quotes here, such as this one, I actually got directly from their website, so those can actually be checked probably until tomorrow morning sometime. So this is a quote directly off their website, and it talks about the problem. The problem being that the scallop population has gotten so bad that they've closed commercial harvesting completely, and they've severely restricted recreational harvesting. And you can see by these quotes, there's no real plan in sight to do anything about it. This has been a problem since 1985. Prior to 1985, it was open for commercial fisheries. It was open for recreational fisheries. You could just go out and get scallops anytime you wanted to. Since then, we've seen more and more restrictions, including what I feel to be potentially the end of our own scallop season here. Scallop season bag limits, since it reopened back in 2002, have actually decreased twice now. Bag limits being the amount of organisms that you can keep, be it by whole or by pint. Part of this is because of peer pressure. This is actually a letter that was from the Tourist Development Council to the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, asking that they prolong the season, not shorten it, and keep it open because of the economic impact. Now, FWC is actually already working on different plans, and they have different programs in place, several throughout the years actually, that are working to increase the scallop population. Currently, they're focusing their efforts in the Panhandle. Why the Panhandle? That's actually a Restore Act grant. So I'm sure we all remember the BP oil spill off the coast. So FWC was actually able to obtain a fair amount of that money for these restoration efforts, and they've been focusing on that area because that's where they're really hurting the most in the state of Florida. They really have almost no scallop population left. The problem being, it's not just closing down the bag limits and choking everybody out and closing down the season. This is a quote by Dr. Mayfield. Actually, he had a fantastic idea that it would take not only an idea like the scallop stamp, but a more in-depth effort to try to fix this. And I wanted to point this out particularly because if you look at the snook and spiny lobster section of that, there's already actually a snook stamp, which is $10, and a spiny lobster, which is $5. Now, if you imagine $10 per person times, that is an actual photo, by the way, of Crystal River on opening day of scallop season 2012. Yes. So imagine now that's $10 per person that's on that boat. There's multiple people on that boat. The restoration of this population is going to require water quality improvements, which we're already doing as a community. They're going to require seagrass, enhancements and actual restoration efforts. So the water quality improvements, projects like One Rig at a Time, we're all familiar with One Rig at a Time. We know what this is. We know that we're hooking up to sewers. We're not focused on putting in more septic tanks. We need to also be focused on this issue. We've all probably seen photos from the air of things like this. Each one of those scars takes over 10 years to heal itself. And that's where these scallops live. The third option, which is what I originally had proposed, was stock enhancement, which of course the three work together. Stock enhancement simply won't do by itself. Simply improving water quality won't do by itself. We need to be focused on all three of these activities at once. And the benefits are across the board. It's not just scallops. We're getting more tourism, we're getting better water quality. I'm proposing an environmental task force to move this idea into the future. I'd like to get a group of people together to actually meet, sit down, talk, propose ideas, and try to find a way to really move this forward. And I've set up this meeting. I'm sure the slide's going to disappear in just a second, but I was able to get a small invitation into about 75% of the programs that you guys have. I wasn't anticipating such a large turnout, so I apologize. I only had so many. But I encourage you to come to that meeting. That's my contact information. I will be here to the end if you want to talk about it some more. Please feel free to contact me. Ta-da.